Welcome back to Off the Thread Reds, where a group chat of above average Reds fans overreact, overanalyze, and keep coming back for more. We'll break down what's happening within the Reds season in real time and react to the highs and lows of being a Cincinnati Reds fan. Now, before we dive into everything, I do want to talk about what John's excitement's all about is the Cincinnati Reds just swept the Minnesota Twins. So for everybody out there, make sure you get those brooms out and start sweeping. Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Camera a little bit like spotty too right now.
Yeah. John, sweep the camera. It's a little grainy. Yeah.
Sweep the camera.
Sweep the camera.
Yeah, sweep it. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
All
right, so let's go ahead, dive into the series recap. So what are your guys' reactions, thoughts, feelings, emotions? The Reds getting 3 out of there in Minnesota.
First things first, smooth and easy.
Yeah, I'll go because I missed last episode celebrating good old tax day, having a couple of Shark Tanks at the Great O'Brien's. Wasn't able to hop on the show, but a lot of the excitement for me is that it's the guys you brought in that are producing a lot of these wins, and I'm going specifically that San Fran series, Sal Stewart, and then Gino. Gino wins you game 1 on his own. Like he put the team on his back. Making a lot of plays at third, 2 RBI hit, and then, you're succeeding despite all these, basically 2/3 of your lineup underperforming at this moment. And the law of averages, they're going to play better than they are right now. I know we can touch on concerns with how bad their current numbers are, but they're going to get better, and you're still winning all these ball games. You're 6 games, about 500, 3 weeks into the season.
I'm having fun. I don't remember having this much fun as a Reds fan for a while. They win close games, and it always feels like a very Cincinnati thing for our teams to lose close games, regardless of the sport. 1-run games, I think they're 10-0, wasn't that the stat?
I think it's 1 and 2 run.
1 and 2, but
2 runners, yeah.
But still, like a close game where you obviously don't have a lot of room for error. They're, to Joey's point, Friday night was the Gino game, and then obviously, like, it felt like yesterday the Saturday game was like a whole team affair, and today also too, like it was like Sal wasn't playing well, or not batting well, and guys picked him up when he obviously had kind of a slower day. It was also kind of cool seeing B. Will's return to home, and like you see the side of like a million like fans, and like he had his first date at a Minnesota Twins game, and he's now married to his like high school sweetheart. Like it was a really cool like broadcast of like B. Will's journey too, and like his family and friends supported him. So I'm glad we went in, we came, we saw, we conquered. John, what did you think?
Fellas, this was the perfect way to win a series. Not only do you sweep them, but take what we've talked about so often and things changing year over year. 2 of the games are decided by 1 run. You win both of those. You move to 11-0 in 2-run games, 7-0 in 1-run games. You have 2 games which you come from behind where typically you don't think you're going to win those games. You not only come from behind, but you do so in a fashion in one of the games where you come from behind, then you almost blow it in the 9th, then you have to do it again in the 10th inning. This team is relentless. It's resilient. It should give you hope that we're 14-8, and we haven't even shown our best on the offensive side of the ball.
No, we have a negative run differential when we're 14-8.
Yeah,
we should be the last place based off of the run differential. They showed that earlier. No, they've like, I thought they were dead today. Like listening on the radio, like they would always get someone to lead off the inning, walk or base hit, and then the inning would just kind of fizzle out. And like that 9th inning, just had the magic that we've seen for the last few games. It felt like for when they came back. And to your point, John, I mean, once Pagan blew that save, I was a little worried that it was going to come crashing, and then they rallied. That weird play with Ellie extending and scoring. I know he kind of looked funky when he slid, but just continuously like adding on as well too, like not just getting the 1 run, but making it sure that when you come back in for the bottom of the 10th, they take care of business, right? Like there's no reason for them to lose that game at that point.
So for everybody out there, real quick, run through it. The first game of the series, Reds won 2-1. That was a Brandon Williamson start. Absolutely killed it. That's the Suarez win. Basically, he won the whole game. That's what Joey was talking about with the double, and the plays he made at third. Second game of the series, Reds won 5-4. Suarez again had a crazy day. Dane Myers went in a clutch situation, did what he can. The bullpen was what they've been all year. Four and a third, 0 and run, 9 Ks. And then lastly, today's 7-4 comeback win, extra innings. I guess the key thing we're kind of saying is like this team has shown the fight that they had in 2023 and 2024, and they're kind of bringing it to this year, but they have like the tools to not only win those close games, but continuously win those close games. I feel like, us compared to years past, like we're a winning ball club. And it's something that, me as a Reds fan, I love to see, but it is pretty interesting. I will say the negative run differential is scaring me. If you guys look at the NL Central, all the teams are opposite of what they should be. So the team with the best run differential is the Cubs in last, and we're with the worst, and we're at first. So I'm a very stats heavy person when it comes to things like that, and that run differential normally means we're not good. So I don't know if we're still getting lucky or if it's just the way we play games. But any more things about the series kind of before we dive into our episode's kind of talking point?
No apologies to the Brewers and the Cubs being in last place with the run differential. No.
Yeah, I'm curious too, the way they play games. I feel like the Cubs a lot of times do. If they're facing a bad pitcher or someone who they can handle, they'll just run up the score. But when they're playing good pitching, they tend to struggle. So I think that's going to be something that we kind of hang our heads on when we go into their series. All right, let's get into the talking point today, which is the best bullpen in the MLB. If you guys haven't seen what the Reds are doing. We basically have the best ERA, we have the best stats of a bullpen. But there's some things that are surprising me, I guess you could say. There's a lot of people stepping up that I wasn't expecting. So what are your guys' thoughts on the bullpen so far, and where we're going kind of from there?
Yeah, I mean, they showed it this series. They were lights out. Was the only run we gave up the Pagan one in the ninth inning all series?
I think didn't we? I think there's one more run that they gave up on. No, that was it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and these are all tight games, high leverage situations. I'm going to pinch him like the best bullpen in the MLB. I would definitely say that the Dodgers are not the best bullpen in the MLB. They've been showing that lately. So they might be. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like
Mason Miller, but
not winning the Cy Young, Mason Miller. Hey, every time I look at Twitter and I see like a stat where it's like, he's currently doing this, this, and this, I think about him free Chipotle. It's not happening. He's not winning the Cy Young. Something crazy is going to happen. But all right, besides that, the one thing I have to say about our bullpen, we don't have any studs in our bullpen. Honestly, we don't have a guy like a Mason Miller. We don't have a guy that can come out and, you think you got the game. Even when Pagan comes out, I get scared. I don't know about you guys. I freak out a little bit. Do you think this kind of using guys as we see fit, Tito, I guess, DNA of how he uses a bullpen, do you think it's going to continue throughout the season? Or do you think we're going to kind of hiccup and take a step back?
That's kind of his job with it now. To your point, we don't have anybody where, turn the lights off. They're doing
like a Cy Young level closer coming
cigar, and there's nothing like that when Pagan comes in. It's just like, oh, please, Pagan, don't blow this. This is the way we're thinking. I mean, Terry's obviously done an incredible job picking the right matchups, using guys in the higher leverage, whether it's the top of the orders coming up, but it's only the eighth inning. So you throw the guy you trust more there. Lefty righty matchups. I mean, he's pressing all the right buttons at the moment.
Yeah, to your guys' point, there isn't anyone that would probably strike the utter fear from a batting standpoint from a stuff. And that's what we talked about at the beginning of the year too, is if Chase Burns gets ushered into the bullpen, is because he does have that elite level speed, that velocity that a lot of people can't touch in the later innings. But I don't know, just the way that Terry manipulates, and Santillan is just so underrated from what he brings as well. I don't know if there's lines for him to be NL Cy Young winner because he also isn't giving up a whole lot. But I just
We're going absolutely
oh
crazy.
yeah,
We
yeah,
can't
it's crazy. Yeah, we'll leave it. We'll just leave it at Mason Miller. Um, but it's crazy because they're all so consistent, and I know it's still so early on, and they're going to give up runs. It's impossible to keep doing what they have been doing, but um, I just feels like if you can get this team a shot in the seventh inning. And it's bullpen v bullpen, and I know that's something that John's been saying to us in our group chat. There's a good chance that the game ends with a Reds win because of how well they've pitched thus far. And it's so refreshing to have a good starting pitching and then hand it over to just another quality pitcher to carry on for the rest of the inning or, get them out of the jam if that's the case.
Awesome. I don't know how this is looking for all of you all, but welcome back to Off the Thread. Technology sucks. My computer went spam mode and don't really know where we cut off, but we're going to kick it back in to Cap's Corner. This week we are doing the classic Rose, Bud, Thorn. For those of you who have not heard the same before, Rose is someone who is successful / overachieved. Bud is someone to be on the lookout moving forward, and then Thorn is underwhelmed / concerns. I'll start here for you. Just easy one for me, and I think it's a topic that we've already spoken on as well. So my rose for the series and probably for the years, the Reds bullpen currently. The MLB, it's our ERA's the best of any team. Covered 12 innings this series and only gave up 1 earned run, coming off the heels of doing something very similar against the Giants. Bud, now this is one that I'm excited to hand out. Graham Ashcraft. Today he got his first save in his career that includes college and minors. And dating back to April 3rd, he only has 1 earned run. He's been flawless his past 6 outings. If anything, it makes you feel good about your 7th and 8th inning, going from like an Ashcraft to Santion. The 9th inning, Pagan, he's typically shut down, sometimes can make you stress a little bit. Today was one of those days. But makes you feel good about your setup and your closer situation. And Thorn, it's someone that I spoke on to possibly have a little bit of a down year this year, but Andrew Abbott's going to be my Thorn. He's currently sitting at a 5.84 ERA, giving up about 6.5 hits per game. My biggest pet peeve, honestly, if we look at it, is Andrew Abbott. I don't think ever should have been put in the likes of players like Hunter Greene or Nick Lodolo. I think a lot of people over the past 2 seasons, he was their third. So Hunter Greene pitches really well, Lodolo pitches really well. Abbott comes off the heels of those two, pitches really well, and people just kind of assumed he might be like a Lodolo-like player. And this is no shot at Abbott, but I think Abbott's closer to a Singer-like player than he is a Lodolo-like player. So I think that's just something people are going to have to get used to. I don't think he's going to have a bad season, but I think he's going to have a little bit worse of a season ERA standpoint-wise, as well as getting hit hard than he has in the past 2 seasons. But that's my Rosebud Thorn. I'll kick it over to whoever wants to step up next.
Yeah, well, no doubt on. I like that you pointed out Abby and Singer being similar pitchers because that's the way I viewed them going into last year. And honestly, after spring training, that's kind of the way I viewed them going into here. Anyone who would have tossed around Abbott in the same light of Hunter Greene when they're both healthy either just doesn't watch the games and just looks at the box score, or they never played baseball and knows the difference between a 101 mile per hour fastball and a 92. Uh, but yeah, so my rose is Gino. I'm giving it to him for this series. Just so happy to have him back and him playing third base a little bit and gloving it. And that was a little bit of a concern, him going out in the field, but he looked pretty comfortable and actually almost hit better when he was in the field. My bud, I actually had Ashcraft also. 1.5 ERA, first year in the bullpen. I think he's found a home there, and he can actually be more effective coming out, just throwing 1 inning at a time than when he was, trying to carry weight, eat a lot of innings. And then my bud, I don't know if this even still qualifies sorry, Thorn. Ke'Bryan Hayes. Ke'Bryan Hayes. I don't know if he deserves me saying his name correctly either way. But .058 batting average. I know he's been the most unlucky hitter, but it kind of goes hand in hand with Gino being a Rose and looking capable as a third baseman. It's hard to see Key out there. Just even when he hits it well, it's warning track power, if that, or it just goes straight to a guy or floats up long enough that he can't find a gap. Nothing's going his way.
I think the Thorns are pretty much taken. I mean, when you sweep an opponent, those are kind of who you would look at. My Rose, I'm torn between two, so I'll take one, and hopefully Kirby, you take the next one. Rose for me is ABS challenging from a red standpoint. I think, like we talked about today, ending on an ABS challenge is awesome, especially when that would put the tying run to the plates, like that still puts a lot of pressure on Ashcraft to get his first save. And also, too, I think we're leading the league or top 3 from an ABS challenge standpoint. So I think what they're doing in terms of challenging at the right moment, even though they did let more than a handful today go by when they could have easily challenged. But overall, I'm pretty impressed and also very satisfied being one of the upper tier teams from a challenging standpoint. Bud, this is a John Caponeri favorite. B. Will is my Bud. I think he's showing more consistent starts of what you're expecting and what you're getting out of him. I would love for him to get a little bit farther into games, but if he can find the strike zone and avoid those walks, if he's your 5th starter or 4th or even 3rd, I mean, he's showing signs that he could be a very just a consistent pitcher. So he's my Bud. And then Thorn, I was torn between, honestly, it was going to be Abbott. So if he is your quote unquote ace, he's not playing like it. And I know it's unfair because he's not your ace because you have injuries, but you would want him to go farther. It's the first inning for whatever reason's getting him, but that's my Thorn.
Yeah, Williamson just needs to throw a few more strikes.
Yeah.
He's getting his pitch count up because he's throwing balls, and then if guys are fouling it off long enough, he's eventually walking them.
Right.
And the worst part about it with Abbott too is, like, if you look at his past 2 outings, it was straight just game planning against him. Sit, lay off the breaking ball. Heater comes in, it's not confusing anybody. Straight on the laces. The Angels, everybody loved talking like Abbott got singled to death. He did get singled to death, and it wasn't the hardest to contact, but they were putting bat on ball consistently, putting it in play, and not getting confused by his pitching. And this is the second outing where you see it, where they're laying off the breaking ball and they're lacing the fastball when it comes in. So it's becoming a little bit of a routine, and that's kind of where I'm seeing a little bit of concern from others as well.
I will say, you said he's closer to Brady. Brady Singer's last 2 starts have been pretty solid and, and put us in a position to win. It's like,
no question
Singer's
about it.
A solid pitcher too, so that's not a slight on Singer. It's just not giving Abbott that upper level credit that we wanted to at the beginning of the year.
I think that's kind of where I go with it too. Is it's not a slight to Abbott at all to sit there and put him in the same category of pitcher as Singer. If anything, it's just a good way to differentiate and curb people's expectations that he's not a Nick Lodolo type guy. He's not going to give you what Nick Lodolo can give you when Nick Lodolo is healthy. But at the same time, it's not a guy you kick to the curb and just say he's useless. He's shown his worth the past 2 seasons. He can give you some quality innings and quality starts. There's no doubt about it. But I'm not viewing him like the other elite pitchers that we have on the team. But yeah, I'll kick it to Kirby, let you get through your Rosebud Thorn.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you guys. I think with an Abbott and Singer, you strive for them just to get quality starts. You're not striking out 10. You're not making it through 8 innings. Just get a Q start and kind of go on from there. But Rose, I'm going to say I want to say pitching, their bullpen and things like that, but I kind of don't want to choose that. I'm going to say timely hitting from multiple different players. I think that was huge. We haven't had that in a long time, and it actually came to be. I thought our plate approaches were great, and I hate using an overarching and not a single player, but really our timely hitting was you don't see that from the Reds. So big shout out. I guess Valleca is my rows there, which is kind of weird to say. My bud is going to be the two guys that came up with clutch hits, but also needed them. TJ Friedel, I think that was huge. I think today's game was huge for TJ Friedel. Curious how it translates to Tampa, but I mean, that was the TJ Friedel we were used to seeing. The other one was Reese Hines, man, getting his first hit. That was smoked. So like, and I think Mark said this, or someone said in the group message earlier today, that at bat he had to get to that pitch was a major league at bat. So like, it's nice kind of seeing him take those steps and striving towards that. And the last one, Thorne for me, I think is the way our starting pitching's approaching the beginning of the game. Joey, you killed it with that saying. Their pitch count's going up. They're not throwing first pitch strikes. They're not filling the zone up. Like, my goodness, like Nick Lodolo, or not Nick Lodolo, Andrew Abbott, you're not Nick Lodolo. Just like place your fastball, use your off speed to keep guys off balance, and pitch the contact. Like, that's all you got to do. And I think, John, what you said was perfect with the Angels. Like, yeah, they didn't homer him to death, but they singled him to death. They barreled the ball up. They're having great ABs because they knew what was happening. I think Cowboy on the broadcast said it, where Abbott the whole game was not allowing the batters to go to the outside corner. So like, they would just sit fastball the whole game. Like, they weren't unbalanced the whole time. I know there's a lot of baseball mumbo jumbo I'm saying, but like, if you're a pitcher and you're not using your off speed on the outside, it's not going to set anything up. So like, they were just waiting. So I don't know. I'm curious kind of what steps we go, because I can't handle seeing an Andrew Abbott outing, him only pitch 5 innings and give up 3 or 4 runs. Like, that's not winning baseball. So curious kind of what adjustments we would make going forward. But and my other thorn was Joey Ke'Bryan Hayes. I mean, we'll get into it later this episode, but I don't know, man. Someone's got to change.
Can we play a quick game of everyone take a guess of when Ke'Bryan Hayes' last hit was? The date. It's April 19th.
Man,
can I ask a question? Have the Mets won a game since then?
I'm gonna hate this. Oh my God, I'm gonna hate this.
Okay, so that's at least 10 days, right? Plus maybe 2 off days. So I'll go with April 5th to 14 days.
Bingo.
Ooh. I was gonna say April 3rd. I remembered him getting a hit in Texas, but I didn't know what game it was.
Oh, dude, he was on fire in Texas. He batted 250 in Texas.
Dude, it's bad when you can remember a specific hit for a player and it's like 20-something games in.
And it's not like a significant one, like a walk-off or anything like that. It's like
just a nice backside single.
Yeah.
Like, so there was only one game difference, though, that the Mets won. The Mets won that next day, but
they haven't won one since. What's more likely, the next Mets win or Ke'Bryan Hayes?
That is the golden question. I'm going to go with a Ke'Bryan Hayes hit.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Get a lottery ticket.
Heck yeah.
So my thing is with Ke'Bryan Hayes, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Reds fans alike who do not know this. When we traded for him, he had a degenerative back problem that is only going to get worse. Only going to get worse. And he had to switch his swing up from a one-handed finish to a two-handed finish, and he has not been hitting the same since. Once again, kind of the same way I feel about Friedel. I'm not knocking him. He was a hell of a baseball player and still is. Defensively, he is unbelievable. One of the most fun players you can watch. But offensively, it's kind of a question of if this back injury is really affecting the offensive production that much, what's his actual worth to you? You cannot play a third baseman that's hitting .58 or .058. I don't even know. It's so bad.
Yeah, Mark, I have a question for you. Do you ever check the lines for what Ke'Bryan Hayes' one base would be? Is it plus 5?
I did live bet. I think it was Saturday night. It was the end of we're coming up, and it was Hayes, Friedel, and I literally live bet in game out. And then I saw Spencer Steer pinch hit for him. I was I was so mad because it was free money essentially. But I might start doing that, just live at bat, just in play out.
In play out. Yeah.
I was gonna say this kind of leads into
Yeah. Before we move into Mark's metrics, can I because I thought you were gonna take this as your rose, Kirby. Terry Francona managing, I feel like has done such a great job too. That was what in between my two roses. So I wanted to say that out loud. I feel like Terry's done a great job managing the team and also getting the most out of this team at the right time. So.
All right. Well, hey, Mark, go ahead. Hit away with Mark's metrics.
Yep. Brought to you by Miss Sally Law, our unpaid sponsorship. Don't know what we cut last time in terms of percentage, but use the promo code OTTREDS at checkout, and then you'll get a very discounted will, estate plan, whatever you need. So, two Mark's metrics, topics of discussion, not bets. I'm not placing these bets because if I place them, they will not go through. And there's a Cincinnati Bengals wager on here, but this is just because I'm very excited about the team. First one is not Bengals related. Atlanta Braves to win the NL East. I think early on, they're a really good baseball team, plus money still. Mets are 7.5 back. I know it's such a long season, and they're one of the more highest payrolled teams in the game. Braves are also playing against the Phillies. There are a lot of good teams in the NL East, but from what their run differential and how well they're playing is not a bad bet if you want to take it.
Yeah, I always say like the Braves, they got unlucky last year. They had injuries, some stuff happened. They have a really, really good team, and I think people kind of forgot about them since they were so bad last year. Like, I could 100% see this. Braves have really good pitching. They have one of the best players in all of baseball on their team. So, I mean, I could definitely see that. I mean, NL East is a monster, though, right? You're like what you said, Phillies, Mets. I mean, the Mets, yeah, are terrible, but in September, you never know. So,
Marlins play well too, and
yeah.
they're currently beating the Phillies right now, top of the 6. But just something that stuck out, topic of discussion. I know Kirby, you follow the Braves somewhat.
I like the Braves too. I think I've mentioned that in a few other episodes.
Yeah.
Bounce back year seems to make sense. They also got a great bullpen as far as Iglesias.
They have a
Phillies,
plus
though, give me a little
55
bit
run
better.
differential. Plus
Yeah.
55 is insane.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they have a
They're good.
scary lineup.
They're a good baseball. They're a good baseball
that,
team.
like when Wheeler comes back, and they got Wheeler and Sanchez at the front end of rotation throughout the summer, that can lead to some long win streaks.
So I feel like the Braves are similar to us. Like they need to get up early and just try and hopefully flirt with 500 baseball for like 3 more months. Like, you know what I mean? Like what Joey said, like the East is just going to continuously get better. So I don't know. I do like it though. And the Braves, again, they're sneaky. I mean, they're a playoff team. I definitely think so. But
I mean, they're just looking at their team stats from a hitting standpoint. They are, was it 4th in home runs? I mean, RBIs, they're tied for first with RBIs. So like 119 RBIs compared to the Reds.
Don't even say it.
I'm scrolling. It's taking me a while to get
The
to
Braves
20.
don't even what 6 runs 5 out of 6 games a week.
Yeah. They're playing. They pitch well and they hit well. So Reds are 28th with looks like 70 RBIs. So that's yikes. Other one, and this will transition to around the league, but over on the Cincinnati Bengals win total, similar when we had all the discussions on the Reds over-unders regarding wins. It's such a fun bet if you're going to stick through the team from day one to the end of the season, even if maybe they're not in it from a playoff standpoint. Hopefully they are crushing this 9.5 before Christmas, and they're talking about a higher seeding for playoffs given the recent news. But as a Bengals fan, like I think there's something different brewing for this team that we haven't seen in a little bit. So not placing the bet for any sort of, if you're watching or listening and being like, oh, we're dead because I'm betting on. I'm not. Just proactively saying I'm excited to Houday this fall.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't agree more. I am so pumped for this season now. I mean, last year was so weird. Like Bergen, you playing like crap against the Browns, getting away with a win, and then Bergen hurt the next game. It was like the season never even really started to get super excited. But man, that D line upgrade they've made from last year to this year, got me really excited. Now you just need to upgrade a little bit in that secondary throughout the draft. And then hopefully opponents aren't even getting to our linebacker area. So that way we
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
just
to
a
expose
dead
any of
zone.
those flaws.
But also too, like if the running lanes are clogged from up front, you make the linebacker's job just way
Yeah, it might make
easier,
them look
right?
better. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when you can't get any pressure from a pass rush standpoint, and then you're covering guys longer, and you're also, holes are opening up and running backs are hitting that second level at top speed. It makes your job way harder to tackle too. So
Yeah.
they'll
I'll say this too. Dexter Lawrence is more valuable than Trey Hendrickson, without a
Yeah,
doubt.
no doubt
thousand
about it.
percent.
Is it for the Bengals specifically, and probably any team, but Bengals specifically, run defense, unbelievable. He's going to be on the nose of the ball and still had almost 10 sacks last year, had the most pressures in his position by a far margin. I was going to say the exact same thing, Joey. It feels good coming off the heels of watching Trey at that press conference saying he feels like he's playing on the right side of the ball now. It's like, buddy, we just got so much better without your bum ass. Like, get out of town. Have
I
a
was
good
really getting
time.
tired of him too. He was so one dimensional, and
He
yeah, I don't
drugged
know.
the Bengals for 2 years about a contract that his own agent
That he
messed up.
signed.
That he
His
signed.
agent said, "Trey, this is a good deal. You should sign this. I'm your representative. You should sign this contract."
Drug
And
us
he said,
for
"Okay."
years, and the
Signed it.
Bengals try and make it right a couple of times. Like, he drugs us in public, does this whole stint, plays last year, and I'm never gonna
Had to
get
play
mad at an
last year.
injury. Yeah, had that injury and whatever, but I
They
feel a
also
whole lot better with Dexter Lawrence on the
they
side.
also gave him 16 extra million for no reason last year that they didn't have to give him a justified pay raise. And the Bengals will never get credit for that in the public media. The Bengals bias is 100% real. But yeah, I stinks that he's a Raven, but I love it's gonna make
No, just
whatever.
just run the ball at him.
Yeah, literally
It's
just
gonna it's can come to our advantage. Just run at him. I mean,
Literally.
I can't wait for whatever, and this NFL schedule makers love doing this. They're going to put the Bengals on a prime time Thursday night game in early December or Christmas Eve or whatever it is, and they're going to put us at Baltimore because they love doing it to us too.
yeah. Yes,
Yes.
this kind of turned. It's meant to be a Dexter Lawrence hype session. Now it's kind of turned into this Dragon Dre. But I mean,
Yeah.
I just thought he got too much love even when he was here. I was never really like a big Trey guy. I mean, I was at the games cheering when he got his 4 sacks against the Raiders every year to pump his stats
No
up.
doubt.
But it
The
was not
Desmond
always
Ritter
the
game.
big moment.
Yeah. No, it was he for having 16 sacks, it was 7 were coming from 2 games. And you're like, this isn't the stat is misleading because it's not meaningful when you need a sack.
Two
Right.
things on this, and I'll pass the ball. The Trey Hendricks thing, I don't think any of us would be hating on him if he didn't try and make us hate on him. It's almost like he's actively trying to poke the bear and was doing so while he was still on the team. Second point, this feels like an off the thread Bengals segment of the future at some point, possibly.
So,
saying.
John, I'm glad you did that little plug there. Thread heads out there. Obviously, we're really big into the Cincinnati Reds, but this fall, this is the first announcement that we had public. We will be making an off the thread Bengals, and it is going to be led by your one and only Joey and Mark here. So, off the thread Bengals will be very similar to the setup to this, talking more football, getting live reactions that way. As you can tell, super, super passionate fans here. So very excited to kind of see how that turns out. But one thing I will say,
I think we'll probably go once a week with that, Mark.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be on the show.
I'm gonna be very busy at the end of September, so I can't commit to a huge time commitment. But as someone who loves to hooday, I'll do what I need to do.
Yeah, September when in October when the Reds are facing the Dodgers in the NLCS.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how that.
Yeah.
Maybe have to make some shorter episodes, move it around there. But yeah, really excited for Bengals season. I wish that we know the opponents. So this 9.5, you can look into it. but we don't know the actual like clean schedule, which
when you play and where, right? It all like those do have an effect on the season total. I agree. Like if you start off, in a dome or you end in a dome and you avoid the cold weather
and they're
towards the
definitely putting
end.
us in Baltimore on a night games. That way
Yeah.
we could see Trey with the blacked out
The
uniforms
blacked
and
out
the blacked
unis.
out
Yeah.
visor. Um,
So I'm going to say one thing, conspiracy theory going out there right now. Bengals people, you'll understand. I think it was a prank phone call. Someone was acting as the Brown family, called, got the trade done, and then the Brown family figured out about the prank call and realized all the fans were super happy. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll just keep rolling with this. That's fine." There is no way the Bengals did this. I mean, this
I'll
is
be honest.
not a
I don't
Bengals
have the
thing.
Bengals back. That they have been trying. I feel like since Burrow's been here. I
And
think
that
the blame has been the scouting department more than anything.
I, I agree 100%. I think this shows to Jamar, T, and Joe, hey, we're trying. Also, too, there's so many mock drafts where they take some project that in 3 years from now might, turn out to be a really good football player. But I and everyone loves to, judge a trade already and all that stuff and saying that the Bengals got fleeced. Like, I think it's a fair trade. I think both teams come out with something that they're looking forward to. Um, and I'm just really excited that they are at least trying to win with Joe versus what they did with Palmer and all that stuff. But one more thing about Bengals ownership that they will not get credit for: flying sexy Dexy private jet. Ravens poor ownership, making Max Crosby fly coach to Baltimore to renege on his deal and send him back and coach to Vegas. So the ownership gets a lot of, yep, gets thrown through the mud, and I will drag them through the mud as they need to as well. But right now they're getting their flowers.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. Like it's a good trade for the Giants probably too, because they're in a little bit more of a rebuild mode, and they're
Harbaugh
looking
gets
for
his
Duke
guys.
to line up with Jackson Dart and Scatterboo,
Scott and neighbors.
neighbors. Yeah, and now they got 2 top 10, so the odds of them at least hitting on one of them goes up a lot. From the
And two,
Bengal perspective, though, I mean, how many like 10 through 15 overall picks do we just blow all the time? So like now we got a surefire for at least 3 years.
and the draft obviously hasn't happened, but when you're watching the draft and you see Sonny Styles get taken, you see, Caleb Downs get sniped at 7 or 8, and you look at the board at 10, I'm sure a lot of Bengals fans are going to look at it and say, you know what, they made the right choice versus taking a cornerback to poison the defensive back room with, giving one contract to either Dax or DJ Turner, because that's something that they would do, right? They drafted a top 10 corner. They said, we're not paying both of you guys. We're going to give one of these contracts, this contract to one of you two, and then the other one's going to walk at the end of the year. So I think, or taking, an offensive tackle that's going to sit because you signed Orlando Brown, you have Mims for a few more years. Like there's so many more room for them to blow this pick up, to your point, Joey, than trading the pick. You get a defensive tackle that's shelf life is a lot longer than defensive ends and other players. So, and you have him for 3 more years.
Yeah, all right. So for around the league baseball, and then I've got a couple other topics that I kind of just want to touch on because one I missed last show, and just a few things I want to make sure we get in. We did touch on the Mets. I mean, I feel bad for their owners because they put everything into that team, and they try, and it just nothing works. They just keep pumping the money, and they seem to get worse and worse. Today they had a 1-0 lead going in the ninth, and their big closer Devin Williams they brought in blows it in the ninth, and then in the 10th they lose in extras. Um, the Blue Jays also are really struggling now. They're down at 8-13, where they open the season with a sweep of the A's. And then Garrett Crochet got me minus 34 fantasy points this week. Absolutely insane. Something is wrong because last year they lost one game after the All-Star break, and I think it went well before the All-Star break because he threw like a complete game shutout before that. One game that he started after the All-Star break. This year they've already lost 3 of his starts. So definitely a lot of concerns there. I mean, the rotation was Fangraphs #1 opening the year, and I think they're like bottom 5 statistically to this point. Um, yeah, not been good. And then from the Reds, so we got to touch on this fight. Spencer Steer getting beamed to open up his first at bat in that Giants game. Landon Roop, Mark, it never goes through, so we're going to stay quiet for a second while you get to do it.
No, it's slipped. No more Roop. Here it is. All right, Roop. Here it is.
But then opening the game, obviously they took exception to Steer calling for time. And then we hit Willie Adames. It was smart to wait and not immediately retaliate, get Chase Burns ejected. Pierce Johnson got ejected later. And then the Giants end up winning their 3-0 game, lose the series, and are barking on the mound at Sal Stewart, who just terrorized him in the series. I want to go to San Francisco now and just go.
If that's not a Tony Vitello team, I don't know what is. If you ever watched Tony Vitello coach at Tennessee, their teams were always arrogant, always screaming, always doing the thing. It's not going to translate to the bigs. Once again, if you're a Tony Vitello hate watcher like I am, you're enjoying every moment of this.
I mean, so are the Giants becoming our #1 rival outside of the Central?
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I
love it.
They took us in 2012.
Yeah, I was going to say, that beef feels like it's kind of been there, and I'm kind of glad it's kind of reviving a little bit. Yeah, and honestly, was it you, Kirby, or DB who was like, Sal Stewart's going to be the guy who tries to start some things because he's passionate? I loved him taking exception at the end of the game, pointing back at him like, good for him, good for the Rook.
Yeah, I think Dylan brought that up, but the one thing I will say, that video of Spencer Steer in the at-bat box the night before, the way he said it, and literally it was in like a 4-second span of him talking to the pitcher because the pitcher was being a baby about a time call, ump wouldn't give him, and he was sick and tired of it. And it wasn't even like fully directed at the pitcher. It was, but it wasn't because of like him interacting with it. It was his outside interactions. But for him to get a base knock the same moment he says that, I love it, man. That is good for Spencer Steer.
Every single night, because that was his most productive night.
What did he say, Kirby? Quote him. Get the bleep button ready.
I cannot quote what he said, just for other reasons outside of the podcast. But let's just say it was pretty sick. Yeah. It was something along the lines of something, saying something bad. But hey, it was great. It was great.
I did call the Willie Adames was going to be the retaliated player in our group chat too.
I was very radio.
Okay.
I think Brantley was calling for like the very next step back.
Was it? I wasn't listening to
like get Burns out of the game. I mean,
yeah. He literally said, "Get every piece of equipment on your body, Willie, because they're coming at you."
Willie Adames, I will say to his credit, took it pretty well.
He
wasn't looking to cause a fight.
Also, like, hit him right in the hip, too. Wasn't it? It was like hip or like lower leg or upper leg. I don't know. But they started it.
And then I think I already touched on the beginning of the episode if we're able to save that footage. But what's got me excited is we're winning these close games, even with our poor run differential and most of our lineup hitting poorly. But it's the guys who brought us in. So, like, that's what makes me think this team is different and that it is – I think maybe the best team since 2012 that the Reds have had. And this is without our top 2 pitchers still. We're still 14-8 without our top 2. And then we got to just give our weekly love to Nathaniel Oil. Just good at-bats whenever even when he's getting out, he's at least hitting it on the right side, moving the runner to third so we can get him in on a sac fly. He's doing the right things all the time. Even today, he did a good job walking up to the on-deck circle and getting him to put a lefty in. Making us see pinch hit and then didn't even get his at-bat. But yeah, all love, Melo.
I love how you brought that up. He literally went out on deck. They substitute, put a pitcher in, and they're like, no, Dave Myers, you go. Like, that's genius. I don't know if that was a Tito thing. Obviously, probably was. But, dude, Nate Lowe, having him on the bench, it really actually changes our team, like, drastically.
I think he's I'm curious. Too.
Yeah, right. Culture guy in the clubhouse, allowing him to kind of teach. I don't know if he's really mentoring Sal Stewart, but just like being there for everybody. But I mean, we haven't had a bat like that come out of our bench. He's not even in a platoon role. He's a bench player. I can't remember the last time we had a bat like that. So I mean, I'm pumped about it. But again, hopefully we only see him in limited roles, because if he's in the lineup a lot, that's not a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, Sir Tubblewubba, if I may address you for a second, in the dark days of March, where there were a lot of haters who said you may not make this squad, there was one believer. And Tubblewubba, if there is no fans of you on this earth, I must be 6 feet under. You are the Lord and Savior, and you are bringing this team the heartbeat it needs. So Tubblewubba Ding Dong, we appreciate you. We see you. Continue to do what you do for the squad.
I mean, I'll give him the credit. He is Sal Stewart's mentor, and he gets all that credit.
And his job is arguably very difficult to be tossed into games where you don't know if you're playing, and all of a sudden you're all right, get warmed up, you're going in, and then he starts every 4 games or so. So we are the first podcast to give him his flowers, and we want to be recognized for that. So
coming off the bench with 26 at bats, he's in 4th on the team in RBIs, and OPS is up there 4th as well. Like, he's providing something.
Yeah, his 3 doubles is that. Where does that rank on?
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good at all. All right. Well, hey, kind of going off this, I guess it's more of a position battle or a position situation that we're having. And we kind of touched on it a little bit. I want to get into our fan thread question here. This was brought up by our buddy Cam, who's actually on the episode a month ago. But it says, he texted me this earlier today. It said, should Gino/Sal, so either player, start playing a little more third base over Ke'Bryan Hayes? I think the question was mostly brought up because of Suarez's great plays he had over the past couple of days. But I mean, like, I would love your guys' opinions on this, because I think it helps our offense, which is struggling. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on this question?
Do you need us to say it at this point? I think you probably know our answer.
Yeah.
I guess let me throw a question out to you guys. How much, because the front office is tied to this, right? You went out and you traded and said, we're going to take on the financial obligation of a contract that the Pittsburgh Pirates offered and executed. And that's something you willingly said, okay, we'll take it. I'm curious to see how much influence there is on giving him more at bats to break through, and that way it's no longer a talking point. It's hard because he's not playing well from a batting standpoint. And now when you see a game where Gino makes 2 terrific plays at third, they're going to start asking this question almost every day. Also considerations, and I'll let you go, John. May 23rd, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Gold Glove, bobblehead. So we have at least 1 more month of him in the team, right? And then you can get into the whole, do you DFA him and just defer payments for the rest of his life? Or, what you do, because he is a great guy, right? Like, I've heard podcasts and shows that talk about the character, right? We're only talking about the baseball player. Well, he's not playing well.
I still think he has value if in the makeup of this team, where you're a pitch first team, and if you can get some leads and your bullpen's pitching well, once you get to the bottom of the 7th inning, put him in there on defense.
Shuffle him in. Yeah.
Yeah.
How deep do we want to take this one? Because if we're being honest, I'm about to make a comment that I think will get disagreed with a lot, but I stand to it. I'm talking Shogo Akiyama, Mike Moustakas, Candelario. This is Krall's worst move. Bringing Ke'Bryan Hayes for $9 million a year, going to 2030, is Krall's worst move so far to date. I stand on that. Like, you're kind of stuck, like you said, Mark. You're a small ball club that's shelling out $9 million at third base for someone whose back was degenerative when you picked him up and was only going to get worse, and it's proving to be tough. Like, you genuinely can't play someone who's hitting as bad as Ke'Bryan Hayes. Unlucky or not unlucky. The reason I ask how deep you want to get into this, like, I think this presents itself for so many opportunities. Of course, we have to wait till May 23rd for his bobblehead day, but let's just fast forward to that date. I don't think things get better. Do you
So how
send
much,
Go
how
ahead.
much money are you giving him?
I believe it's 8.5 or 9 a year that he's
It's
getting
seven. It's seven
Some-
this year, 7 next year, and then jumps up to 8, 8, 12 in 2030.
I think it averages out to right around 9 a year. So my entire thing here is like sending him down is going to suck, but at some point you got to prioritize winning, especially in this window era that everybody wants to talk about. Do you send him down, and could you bring up a guy like JJ Bleday and bolster your outfield a little more and then move Steer to like first and then take one of Suarez and Sal and put them at third? Or how do you do it? You have so many ways of making your offense better, and that's not even before you bring up Michael Chavez is sitting in AAA, a name that not many people are talking about right now. Third baseman for the Louisville Bats, leads the team in homers with 7, has 19 RBIs. He's hitting damn near 300, 1.035 OPS. By the way, a guy that was a Red Sox top prospect before he got busted in PEDs and has had nearly 20 homers in the bigs in the season before. Like, that's the reason I think that this has earned frustration from Kroll, and it's also earned frustration of how long we've let it go on. You can't have him batting ninth and Friedel batting first. It's hard to mix up a lineup that has those two names in it consistently. So I do understand the Gold Glove defense, and I think it does matter a ton. But what matters more to this team right now? 2, maybe 3 plays defensively a game that you can trust, or like maybe having a couple more runs and hits on the year. Because right now our offense is in the toilet, and our defense isn't that bad, and our pitching's pretty good. You have options, is what I'm trying to say. So I think Cam bring up a great point. I don't think it's just as easy as like Gino and Sal play a little bit more third. I think you have a ton of opportunity to make the team better offensively while losing a little bit of defense. I'm interested to see what you guys say.
Yeah, I kind of want to like echo that, John. Like, yeah, I get it. Ke'Bryan Hayes is one of the best fielding third basemen of this era in baseball. Like, 1,000%,
No
we'll
doubt.
agree with that. But the plays that he makes compared to the offense that he brings, I mean, there's like a big trade off when it comes to that, because realistically, there'll be like 3 or 4 plays he makes within a month of baseball where no one else will make. Yeah, those 3 or 4 plays could change a game. But I mean, imagine if that player playing that third base position was, hitting 250 with a 700 OPS. Which one's more important, right? And from our standpoint right now, the way our bullpen is, the way our pitching is, leads are huge. Like Joey, you kind of hit on that. Like, yeah, he'd be great if we could throw him in the 7th inning when we have a lead, but right now, the way our offense is, we don't really have that often. So I don't know. And piggyback off what John said too, like we have some dudes, not only Suarez and Sal, but we have some dudes in the minors that could easily come up here and hit well and be a good, professional third baseman. Defensively, they won't be the same, but offensively, I mean, there's got to be something. You can't have a guy batting 0.8.
You can't.
0.008 or whatever, 0.0. Yeah, so
it seems like Bleday is hitting a home run every other game in AAA. To John's point, right?
Out. Like that's, and this is not to continue to throw stones or like point fingers or anything like that. But like that's why I guess when Marte wasn't doing so well, I was like, what do you lose by bringing up a guy like Reese and JJ Bleday to replace him, even though it's this early on? Like if Reese comes up and goes 0 for 10, which he started out and did, and he's only hitting 118, but he's got 3 RBIs, arguably helped us win a game yesterday with an RBI and a single. Like, they bring value. If we're seeing 0 offensive value from a player, quite literally a black hole sitting in our 9th hitting spot consistently, like, and you know that you can bring up somebody, or even not even bring up somebody, shuffle some names and does the left field, you can shift things around like that. So we'll see how it goes. I think I just put it for a long time.
Do we put Marte at third base?
If you're asking me, I think Marte had a very good opportunity to play third base and blew it for 80 games of the PED thing, but I'll give him a second shot over
Marte or Chavez at third base first for the Reds.
First? Wait, if you're calling someone up, Chavez, only because, like, I'd honestly feel bad that we took Marte at third, tried to teach him a new position, said, psych, kid, you're going back to third.
Yep. I wanted, like, one last thing I kind of want to add on to this. If you were to change Ke'Bryan Hayes, and he's not playing third right now for you, that means TJ Friedel can bat 9th. And I think TJ Friedel would be a fantastic person batting your 9 hole because you could small ball with the guys coming up that could actually drive runners in. You could do all sorts of stuff with them. So, like, that's another thing where when Ke'Bryan Hayes is batting 9th for your team, you kind of are like, all right, TJ, you kind of have to bat lead off. We don't have another spot for you. And like what you said, if JJ Bleday came up, like, you could throw him in the meat of our lineup and it would help, right? So I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that we need the Reds need to figure out here in the next couple months to make us a playoff offensively a playoff team. But all right, let's go ahead.
Let's get question. I think we'd all say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So appreciate the question, Cam. I feel like every Reds fan out there is kind of thinking the same thing right now. All right, let's kind of finish this episode up with a little preview. The Reds are going to be taking on the Rays tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Pitching wise, we got the guys we want out on the mound. I feel like for this series, we got Rhett Lauder, we got Chase Burns, and Williamson. The Rays, they don't have a pitcher set for Monday in Rays fashion. The Rays do this all the time, but they do have pitchers for Tuesday and Wednesday. We're going to be seeing Matz, who's a left-handed pitcher. I'm a little curious. I'm a little worried the Reds might not be able to handle him too much. But then we got Nick Martinez throwing against us on Wednesday, so that'll be a good one. What's your guys' reaction to kind of this series as a whole?
I can't believe Matz is now a starter again at 34 because he moved to the bullpen for a while. I mean, he was the Red Sox trade deadline acquisition, one of them as a bullpen pitcher last year. He was pretty average out of there, not like bad, but not great stuff. And now it's like he's tearing it up 3-0 under 4 ERA as a starter. And he's throwing more than 5 innings an outing. I don't know. I think we could rock him. I think South Shore versus Steven Matz and Gino versus Steven Matz are great matchups.
Yeah.
He's a lot of jump. He throws just a lot of breaking balls.
They did play the Pirates pretty tough. They lost 2 out of 3, but before then, I mean, they had the White Sox, swept them, and then they swept the Yankees, it looks like, before. But
they did, yeah.
I don't know. They seem like a decent team, similar to the Twins. Like, has a good record. You probably have to, find a way to win a game or two. But I'm excited for the Nick Martinez game, that day game on Wednesday, just because of how well he pitched for us and seeing what he looks against us. Also excited for the young guys to pitch as well. Always excited for Lauder and Burns, but I'm a little nervous about some of the power that the Rays have, and I'm glad that Abbott's not pitching where he gets shelled. Yeah,
like Junior and Yandy,
Diaz,
Miranda. They definitely got a good infield group of
Caminero, right?
Yeah. But we at least kind of get avoided what I would consider their 2 scariest pitchers. I know McClanahan's still coming back from his Tommy John and not the same guy he was before, but Rasmussen is probably their most reliable arm, and we're also missing him.
And tomorrow, are we getting like a bullpen game, essentially? Is that why it's TBD, you guys think, or is it just not announced?
The day before, I'm guessing it probably is.
Okay.
Yeah, bullpen.
Yeah. Jake Fraley's on the Rays, too.
Heck yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, with playing the Rays, honestly, like, the pitching's not what I'm concerned about. I think we all touched on it. Their offense is kind of a dangerous offense, especially for a guy like Chase Burns. I typically don't have any concern, but like when he does get touched up, he can get touched up pretty good, and this would be an offense I'd be looking at to possibly do that to him. We've actually, as a ball club, faced off against Steven Matz 8 total times, and like 3 times in the past year and a half. So we've seen him a fair amount. A lot of these guys have hit against him, so I don't hate our matchup against Matz. It will be fun to see Nick Martinez on the other side of the ball and kind of get to go after him a little bit. But overall, when it comes down to like us facing a team that's good offensively, in a way, I kind of sit back and I'm like, this matchup is one that I like. It's not pitching heavy from the opposing team. We get to lean into our strengths, and hopefully our pitching can outduel their hitting, and then we just focus on getting a couple runs and backing up with our bullpen.
Win the series, find a way to get home against the Rockies to finish the month of April. would be kind of well, I guess they play the Tigers still, but just find a way to win 2 out of 3.
Right.
Yeah,
And I feel like
the Rays
that's
are kind of like the Brewers of the AL in a way.
Yeah,
You know,
just
it's
always
not the
relevant.
names that always scare you. They always have a few that recognize you, but they're not on the cover of MLB The Show, but they're winning baseball games usually.
Successful mid-market baseball.
Yeah.
Mark, I feel like you just hit on that perfect. Reds just need to find a way to win like what we've been doing throughout the season so far. So hopefully we can take advantage of the Rays and kind of go from there. But all right, that has been it for Off the Thread Reds for this episode. Don't forget to check us out every Monday and Thursday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And also don't forget to check out our social media that is run by John, which is electric. Got some good shorts and different things on there. Our handle is at OT Thread Reds. And like always, ladies and gentlemen, go Reds.